Hello, and welcome to another video. This video, we play some more Fury. Had downloaded Gladius X, I think, in a situation. I'm realizing that even Gladius X might not be the right one. Yeah, we're out here. I'm trying the add-ons, and I guess I'm just like using the wrong ones. I was looking up a little bit more. I think was it Big Max one or whatever? It seems like the one that I probably would use. I'm almost dying here just in the opener because this thing keeps popping up. I kind of just end up dealing with it, even though like I'm missing out on a lot of information. They had popped like most of their stuff in the opener, and I just was not prepared for it. Thankfully, Healer was aware, and I hit my enraged defense, soon enough to pretty much not matter, but account. Typically, if it was like a higher level, I probably would have died there. And we ended up just getting a random kill on the Demon Hunter. I guess he just didn't pop anything, I don't know. Or he had already pre-popped like Blur earlier. Probably had to trade with the monk, because monk, does a lot of damage. So the classes that I'm looking at playing, that's a lot of fun. I played some of it in lower level arena, and it was pretty crazy. So now that we've disabled Gladius X, hopefully we don't get a pop-up and almost die instantly. One bad thing that happened because of that round one, I ended up being the kill target. And because I'm a kill target, things are just going to be a little bit more messy for me, but I mean, I tried to play it a little bit better. I also haven't figured out the double overlap with big debuffs and like the regular threat plates that I have. I did actually end up fixing that, so if you actually do like my threat plates, I think somebody did. I'll try to share that with you guys. I'm used to playing Star Wars The Republic, and my UI kind of like mimics what it was in Star Wars, so if you are interested in having that, I'll be happy to share that. I've also recently got into playing Demon Hunter, and I played some 3s on it. It was actually incredibly fun. Don't have sub bonus or anything, but it seems like it's just do damage, and that's about it. I think that's hilarious because, obviously, doing damage is really beneficial since I don't really understand what's going on. I also think it's Mez is like really nice to the Banish or whatever. Like, it makes things a lot more straightforward. That seems like it's probably like the most basic class for learning. And in this situation, I don't know how long Blur is. I didn't know it was a 1 minute cooldown at this point. So I'm thinking like Demon Hunter is probably a good target because they're relatively squishy. So I know Monk has like 3 different defenses or something like that, and Touch of Karma is very scary, and I at this point, I'm not too sure how to tell if that's on me. It ended up being on me right now, but I was unaware of like what the icon looked like, what the debuff looked like, or anything like that. Looking at the top right for buffs and debuffs is not very ideal for me. Usually, at least in the game that I played, we would have buffs scale underneath your nameplate, and it would only be like important buffs, and then I would put my debuffs pretty much where my arena frames are currently, like the enemy arena frames. That's usually where I'd have debuffs and cooldowns show. And the whole idea of having it there is so I can see their trinket timer and see like what their health is, and if I need a quick swap, I can. I do want to change it around. I haven't gotten around to it, but I will. And even though nice skill, I've noticed that execute ever since the buff to Fury has like been hitting really hard, but I know that has nothing to do with the buff at all, because the buff didn't actually increase execute, if I remember correctly. We're just like starting to get our stats going and things feel good. So here we are, round 2 finished. We're going into round 3, and they still haven't figured out that, yes, in the first round, I had to add on pop-up and I almost died, but that's not going to happen again. We are pretty much smooth sailing from this point on, and they did not decide to change up their strategy at all, and it ends up just being a pretty much full-on W for me throughout the entire match. The monk even ends up getting so mad that he ends up throwing the very last round, which really sucks. Not a fan of that. I don't like people that get that emotional over video games, but I can totally understand. He really should just learn how to, you know, swap up his strategy. If something's not working, you gotta try something else. You can't just hammer things into just one thing and expect it to work. Like, think about like when you're playing PvP and you're like looking for like skilled gameplay, or like you're looking for like competitive gameplay or something. Do you really think just tunneling one person for 6 rounds in a row is the only strategy that's going to work? Eventually that person's probably going to maybe change his talent builds, change his gear a little bit, or he's going to change something to make sure that he is more tanky, so that the go is on him, or, you know, constantly just going him is eventually just not going to work, and he's going to learn how to play against it. Eventually they're going to adapt and they're going to learn, right? Chances of them not adapting and not learning usually is just basically insulting like how good they are at the game. You don't have to be amazing at this game to typically manage your defensives. It's not a hard concept for the most part, but it is definitely a bad move on his part for just constantly tunneling rather than changing it up and trying other things. I think there's a couple times where he does hit some other people, but I really think it's just out of the fact that I'm full health. And he is dying around the pillar here because we have just so much pressure, which is kind of funny, but, you know, execute will do that. Or not execute, but that Demon Hunter will do that. But typically when I'm talking about this game and I'm coming from like a different game, there's a unique mechanic in Star Wars: Old Republic, which is it's a game that's pretty much dead at this point, which is why I finally given WoW a chance. We have a tank that's actually functional in PvP. I believe ESO is like the only other game that also has this. But basically there's a guard mechanic that will split damage with the guarded target, and obviously you can swap it around. And typically when they do that, their damage goes lower and lower and lower. And really all you have to do is swap targets to basically not hit into guard, right? The whole entire concept is to prevent that one-dimensional gameplay of just tunneling one target the entire time. So most of my PvP experience is coming from that. And then also at the same time, just in general, it's got a CC system. It's a little bit different than this one. I think it's better, but slows in that game are so much worse. Excuse me. But ultimately, you kind of like learn very early on, just training one target is just not a very good strategy. In this game, it seems like that is a relatively good strategy, which is crazy to think about, but I understand it. There's no tanks, there's no like ultimate thing other than somebody managing their defenses incredibly well that makes it really good. In this situation, they're both relatively squishy, and we're able to pressure them quite a lot. And I kind of try to focus on that just because I feel like neither of these do you really want to hit into. So like Blur you don't really want to hit into. At least I feel like I don't want to hit into it. I don't really know what the correct percentage chance of me hitting or not hitting through Blur is. I know Darkness is like 20% or something like that. So that's one. And then for Monks, I actually just have no idea what their defenses do. I know what Touch of Karma does, but I don't really know the other ones. I played it and I kind of just hit them. It's like basic damage reduction or something like that, and like, I think there was an increased health or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I've touched it, so I'm not completely certain. But I know that they're relatively squishy, and this guy is just he's kind of doomed, right? Like, double warrior, probably not the most fun thing to play against. And here he's on my team, and I tell him this because I want him to, like, you know, hey, you're probably, you know, not doing things as well as you could. And like, it's not me trying to be mean to him. I'm just trying to tell him like, hey, you know, change your plans. So just telling me. It's really the main thing that's keeping this match from being as competitive as it can be is him not playing it properly. He definitely killed me if there was pressure like on the other TPS too at the same time. In this situation, these guys are absolutely trucking me, so it's not a bad idea for them. And one of the situations that really like kind of like irritate me here is that he's going for the healer, even though both the DPS are very much so killable. I don't really have an issue of going for healer. The only thing is that he literally just kind of said nothing at all, which is, you know, whatever. Solo shuffle. It's going to be like that, right? But had I known, like, had he pinged or anything, which I think is awesome. I need to figure out how to do pings in this game because that's something I really wanted in, like, Star Wars, for example. Sorry I keep bringing that up. I know some of you probably have no interest in that, but having pings is such an underrated system, and it's an incredibly useful tool at conveying information very quickly. So unfortunately, we never really get a target stuck, like, in mind before he ends up actually dying. Had he like did anything to convey that he wanted to go for the dragon, probably would have been better. But I'm kind of confused because it's kind of like, you know, feels like he threw completely that round, which really sucks for me. I don't think killing the evoker is a good idea. Obviously, if we're both on the same page, I think we should try it, right? But I don't think it's a good idea. But at least if we're both trying it, it's a situation where it can potentially work instead of just not working at all, because one DPS is probably not going to be able to do it. And in this situation, I realized that he's like just straight up throwing at this point. I open on this guy and I realized that the monk's still not moving. So I'm just like, okay, well, this match is over, whatever. I don't care. I'd really wish people wouldn't play like this, but hey, I have another video coming soon. I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.